present and ready. They are young enough, we will not have them with us. And neither of the placements asked for information about the link. So far as I know, they won't be with us.
Your Honor, if I might make a statement when the court is ready.
Say it again, Mr. Pipes.
I just need to make an opening statement about the entire matter here before us.
Go
Your
ahead.
Honor, as the court has indicated that the court will grant the extension that has been filed in this
Yes,
case.
we're here for a permanency review.
And we're here for a permanency hearing, Your Honor.
That's correct.
Also, I had filed previously a motion to stop visitation. Would like to present a little bit of evidence concerning that. The department is in a quandary as to how the court wants us to proceed, since Ms. Munoz has a bond condition from the district judge in Ward County, preventing her from being around Ariana.
What does that have to do with me?
Visitation, Your Honor.
Well, she can't.
The district judge.
If she doesn't, she violates her bond.
Right, but we have another child that is not mentioned in that bond condition, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're wanting this court to make a ruling as to whether or not to stop visitation altogether.
Correct, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Okay, let's proceed with all of it.
All right, I'd call Yahara Zubiate, Your Honor.
You're under oath, Ms. Zibiati.
Ms. Zubiate, you are the conservatorship caseworker for these two Diaz children, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, and in Your Honor, I would proffer that the Attorney General's office sent the department a AOP that purported to establish Mr. Diaz as the father. After examining that AOP carefully, I've never seen this before, but the AOP has a child with the exact same name as this child, but different parents. So they sent us the wrong AOP, and we have Mr. Diaz not established yet, Your Honor, as he needs to attend a DNA draw, Your Honor. But so saying all of that, he is also charged with an assault charge in Ward County, Your Honor, as far as visitation is concerned. Ms. Zubiate, you are, where are these two children placed?
Elijah is placed in Killeen, Texas in a foster home, and Ariana is placed in San Antonio in another foster home.
And do they have sibling visitation?
Yes, they do.
How are they doing in each of those placements?
They're doing very well. I know Elijah is currently getting homeschooled at his placement, and he's up to date on all his medicals and dentals. Same thing with Ariana. She started Head Start earlier this week on Monday, and she seems to be doing really well. She likes going to school, and she's also up to date on her medicals and dentals.
As far as today's hearing is concerned, what is the current permanency plan or permanency goal that is on file?
On file, we have unrelated adoption.
That would be termination of parental rights on both parents. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I had filed a motion to stop the visitation and attached an indictment as well as bond conditions from the district judge in Ward County. Are you aware of all of that?
Yes.
Based upon the bond conditions, the department has stopped all visitation concerning Ariana and her mother. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe it's in the best interest of Elijah that visitation be stopped at this time?
At this time, I think visitation needs to resume with Elijah.
He is not a part of the criminal case in Ward County. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And he desires to have a relationship with his mother. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. as far as today's motion on the visitation, are you asking the court to suspend visitation concerning the mother and Ariana unless and until those bond conditions are removed?
Yes, sir.
And you and I have had discussion about that. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But continue visitation as far as Elijah is concerned.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you asking today that the department continue as the temporary managing conservator of these children until Ms. Munoz, the mother, is able to conclude her criminal case, and then the department would reevaluate their position in this case?
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I have of this witness, Your Honor.
What is the indictment for?
The indictment is for endangerment of a child, Your Honor. Ariana, drugs, child had drugs in their system.
And you're asking to do away with the order of paternity, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, please. We were
Is Mr.
furnished an incorrect document from the Attorney General's office.
So is Mr. Diaz adjudicated on either child without that
He's
AOP?
adjudicated, he is adjudicated on Elijah, Your Honor, but not Ariana.
And are we going to do a DNA test?
We've asked for that. We have that. He was scheduled but did not appear to one so far.
Okay,
Your Honor.
Got it. All right.
And I have asked the Attorney General's office, Your Honor, if Mr. Diaz would agree, we can use his prior DNA on this child, but he has to consent to that and sign a form to that. And I would encourage his brilliant lawyer, Ms. Blunt, to encourage him to do that.
All right. Ms. Coward, do you have questions?
Your Honor, just proffers.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Ms. Munoz has completed all of the services, including the additional outpatient. She's for sure that her last session is going to be next week. And so she's even completed the outpatient. The outpatient wasn't part of an aftercare program, but the department did require it. And so she completed it since the last hearing. So she's completed everything. She had difficulty with reaching Mr. Parker Johnson, who's the attorney very recently appointed to represent her on the endangerment charge. I've communicated with him. We've shared information, which I've provided him with all the drug test results that Ms. Zubiate has provided to us. And he's going to get in contact with the DA to see about bond, either taking the bond conditions out or modifying them somehow so that she would be able to have contact with her daughter. As I understand, she's exercised as much visitation as is feasible given the distance. And then, so he's aware of that. He's working on it. And that's where we're at on it, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Coward. Ms. Blunt, just for the record, your clients exited the courtroom. I did not kick him out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have questions of the caseworker?
Well, no, I think Mr. Pipes in his summation cleared it up. I just wanted to know if the dad had known about the AOP, that it wasn't effective, and if anybody had told him after that fact to set him up for a DNA, or ask him if he would just consent. I didn't know, because we didn't talk about that because I wasn't aware that the AOP wasn't.
Represented that they had set up a test and he had failed to appear. Was he notified, Mr. Pipes?
Your Honor, I wanted to correct that information. He actually did appear to that first DNA appointment, and he for Elijah, and then for that second one about Ariana, I was asked if he could use the same sample. So I went ahead and asked him if he wanted to use that one so he wouldn't have to reappear. And he said yes. So I'm just waiting to hear back from the OAG, I believe it's called.
Okay,
Thank
But
you.
Your Honor, just to clarify that, he has to go to the OAG and consent that they use his sample again.
Tell Ms. Ziggy, yes, he has to go sign something. Okay,
okay. And I'll make sure he gets that information because I know that he's very on board now and wanting to do his services and wanting to work everything and wanting to take care of everything. And he had actually apologized from the behavior at the first of the case and to changing now to wanting to work with the department and to do everything he could to be on board.
all right, thank you. Mr. Olson? Questions?
Yes, Your Honor, if I may, just a couple of questions. Ms. Subiate, just to follow up on some of the things that have been discussed regarding services. So the mother has completed her services. I gather from the statements that have been made that the father has not. Is that a fair statement?
So I did want to add in regards to the mother, I followed up with Miss Shirley, she's for sure yesterday, and she's supposed to be finishing the week of the 19th if she continues to attend. The father, well, with the mother, we're still needing her to continue to go to her AA sessions and then to complete the individual counseling with Mr. Reese, the individual and the couples counseling. So I followed up with him and I have yet to hear back. So I'm going to continue to try to get a hold of him.
Okay, so you're not sure how many sessions they have or haven't done. You just know that they're in process at this point. Is that fair?
I have the amount of sessions they have attended. I just need to
Okay.
know how many more they're still needing and get that information from him.
Okay, but that's underway. And then in terms of the father's
And then in
services,
terms of the father, he has, let's see. He is still needing to, oh, I'm sorry, for the mother, I forgot to add that she's needing to do her MHMR evaluation. I mean, she already did the intake. She's needing to go to the psychiatric appointment, which is it's next year, February. I don't have the exact date at this time, but it's sometime in February. And then the dad, he's still needing to schedule that. Last time I spoke to him. And he's also needing to provide me the NAAA sign-in sheets. And then the counseling, the couples therapy is what he's also needing to complete.
okay. And am I correct in understanding that at this point that the two parents are together? Is that
Yes, sir, they
Right.
are.
okay? Okay. I believe that's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Pipes?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
If the mother has done all the services and I'm not sure why we brought Miss Green back. Is she on this case? Oh.
No, Your
And
Honor. CASA's
why is-
not in this case.
Why is the goal termination? Why is the plan termination?
So,
Well, the plan is in termination. I think I can address that, Your Honor, because we have a criminal case pending that keeps the child from being around the mother. And if and when we can resolve that, the department will restaff our plan immediately, Your Honor.
Okay. And I did not hear anything harmful to the children about the visits other than the bond condition.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm not going to order the visit stopped. If she gets that bond condition lifted, then she can still visit.
Yes.
But as long as that,
And I think that's the position of the department also, Your Honor.
I'm not going to prevent her from seeing the other child. If that
Okay.
bond condition only relates to that one child, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to order the visit stopped.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'm
Thank you.
also going to find that she's in compliance, and I have a hard time approving the plan. I will approve it, but just so y'all know, I have a hard time approving it as she is in compliance with the service plan. And the behavior that resulted in the criminal charge occurred prior to her working the service plan. The service plan is intended to address that behavior. So that's my thinking.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. And I concur with that.
Our next permanency hearing is set for March 23 at 9:15, March 23 at 9:15. I do have to tell the mother, if you're not willing and able to provide your child or children a safe home, your rights under the family code can be terminated and your children placed for adoption. I guess I kind of glossed over. Did anybody have anything else to present?
Well, Your Honor, we need a new final hearing and a new dismissal date. Does Ms. Figueroa have that?
This
On the
finals,
extension?
June 22nd, 9 a.m. Dismissals, July 15th at 2023.
Your Honor,
Thank
there
you,
is
Your
one
Honor.
thing. I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
there is one thing that's happened since the last hearing, and it's happened very recently. Ms. Munoz did get into a home, an actual home. She has a lease, a landlord. I haven't gotten a copy of the lease from Ms. Zubiate, but that has been requested. And I understand Ms. Zubiate even had a chance to go visit the home recently. So that's a new change.
Fantastic. Congratulations. All right. We'll recess that matter. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
I think Grace Romo was the one that Ms. Blunt filed the motion for continuance on.
That's
That is
correct.
correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And Sierra Wright, my understanding was she had been returned to her mother. Did
She's
we not
been
have a-
returned to her mother, Your Honor, and we have circulated an agreed order that I think from looking at my emails, I think all of the attorneys have approved, and I will furnish that to the court, that just sets child support and visitation and dismisses the department, Your Honor.
All right. Excellent.
Your Honor, on Wright,
Yes, you can exit the courtroom.
Your Honor, on Wright, if the court would allow, I did sign an agreement pursuant to my client's directive. I forwarded the proposed order to the client by email. I also texted her and forwarded the Zoom info for this morning. She's not responded. I have no reason to believe she's not in agreement, but she's not returning a signature.
I have no reason to believe she's not in agreement either. All right. Well, let's get Mr. Diaz, your hearing's over. You may exit the courtroom.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go ahead and take up Wright first, just in case we have any parties here. We can take care of
Yeah,
that.
I think Ms. Wicker is diligently waiting after being on child watch till 2 a.m. I think she would like to do something else, Your Honor.
I don't know how you diligently wait. I think you have to patiently wait. Which case is she on?
She's not
But-
here, or she's not in the waiting room. I let everybody in.
Okay, well then she may have given up the ghost. I'll text her and tell her we've got a deal done. Okay, Your Honor?
Is that on Sierra Wright?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone else need a hearing on Sierra Wright?
No, Your
Okay.
Honor.
I'll approve the agreement when I see it.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for taking care of that. So we'll take up Grace Romo. I am not inclined to do a continuance because I can't adjust my calendar for Judge Swanson's calendar because I have deadlines that he does not have. And I'm not assuming that the ruling I made is going to get overturned.
Your Honor, just for the court's information, this date is in May, and the department would not object to a continuance at this time.
Well,
And Your
The court-
Honor, what I was hoping, and after speaking with the parties, if we have a final hearing today, there's not going to be any new information. And because of the aggravated circumstances, finding that that was found on August the 22nd. And since the dismissal date is not until May, that if we could diligently just ask for a status conference and from Judge Swanson to be able to explain to him that we do have a deadline, and if the court can go ahead and continue just to a date certain, that at least we could get with Judge Swanson, hopefully, and get that status hearing in January. And the court wouldn't be waiting for him, but at least he would be aware that we're trying, because at this point, with us having a de novo for both the mother and the father, then they have done nothing, because with aggravated circumstances, the department, and as you can see from the permanency report that was filed, the parents have done nothing, because it says aggravated circumstances were found, was ordered on 8/22. Aggravated circumstances were found on 8/22. And so that was the reason that I was just asking, so that we could have the opportunity to tell Judge Swanson that we do need to have a ruling on that case, because we're underneath this court's deadline.
Have you had the de novo hearing?
No, Your Honor, we have not. And
Then
that's our, because Judge Swanson has not even said it. And
that's why I'm not inclined to continue it, because I can't make him set it, and we're in the same spot.
Well, Your Honor,
So-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I believe what we're hoping for is that we can go to Judge Swanson's court administrator and essentially point out that we have a deadline with the dismissal date, or deadline with a set hearing date in this court, and perhaps use that to accelerate the process in Judge Swanson's court. I would certainly agree that we're not asking for an open-ended continuance that has no closure. That would not be appropriate under any circumstances. But if we could set a date certain for a hearing and use that as an impetus for Judge Swanson's office.
Take into account my scheduling, because even though our deadline's not till May, I have other cases in other counties I have to do, and so I still have to schedule and reschedule.
right.
Um,
And Your Honor, this one is a little bit different from our other de novos from a final hearing with Judge Swanson. And I don't know if Judge Swanson is aware, because this is a de novo from aggravated circumstances. So it's not like, oh, it's a final hearing, because we still have a final hearing, of course, that won't affect this court's scheduling on another case that Judge Swanson hasn't ruled on. And it's been over a year since we had that case. And so I would,
finding an appropriate time between all the counties that I can put another final hearing in. Even though it's not till May, we have other stuff that's scheduled.
right. When is
Your Honor,
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to point out, I don't know from our perspective, at least from the perspective that I would have with my client, I don't know that there's any reason why this would not appropriately fit into a normal Reeves County docket. In other words, the standard end of, fourth Thursday of the month. I don't think there's any reason why it would need a special setting.
Because we have lots of other hearings scheduled. I mean, I'm just looking at our schedule and it's pretty crazy.
Let's see if I can.
I guess I can set it for February.
That would give us some time to get with Judge Swanson's office. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, we're going to do a permanency hearing. Well, do you have a caseworker, Mr. Pipes?
Yes, Amanda Bivens is present, Your Honor.
Oh, Ms. Bivens, okay.
May we release Miss Cummins so she doesn't have to stay? Our court
Yeah.
reporter.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Cummins.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, this is cause number 220524409 CBR. We're here for a permanency hearing. I don't need announcements. Mr. Pipes,
I'd call Amanda Bivens, Your Honor.
you're under oath, Ms. Bivens.
Ms. Bivens, please tell us where this child is currently placed.
The child is currently placed with Miss Rodriguez, who is the great grandmother.
And has the child been placed there since this case began?
Yes, sir.
How old is the child now?
Grace is what, 10, almost a year old, 10 months. I may be off.
And how is she doing health-wise? Is everything going well with this child?
Oh, Grace is doing wonderful at the great grandmother's home. She is thriving. She's starting to crawl. She's starting to pull herself up. She has a lot of personality. She's doing wonderful in the home.
And for the record, what is the department's permanency goal in this case?
Termination, relative adoption.
And is the current placement licensed for adoption yet?
No, not yet. They are in the process of getting that steps completed.
So the licensing process has begun for Ms.
Yes, sir, it
Rodriguez?
has.
All right. And ultimately, that would be the department's goal.
Yes, sir.
As far as the parents are concerned, since the time that the judge found that these aggravated circumstances apply to them, have they been able to effectuate any services at this time?
And no, sir, not since the aggravated was found. No, sir.
Since the judge found aggravated circumstances, the department has not offered any further services. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And no service plan has been effectuated for them to work on.
No, sir.
Have these parents kept in touch with you?
Every now and then, Miss Ruiz will contact me asking me for a picture of Grace, which I oblige, and I do get her a picture so she can see Grace, a picture of Grace.
But based upon the fact that this court has found aggravated circumstances, the department is not working forward with services for either parent at this time.
Correct.
That's all the questions that I have, Your Honor.
Ms. Blunt,
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Olson,
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Cower.
Ms. Bivens, although there is no service plan, is it correct that the mother has not secured any services on her own?
As far as I know, no, ma'am.
And has she contacted you to ask about any service providers that she could obtain on her own?
No, ma'am.
Has the father done that?
No, ma'am.
If they were to do that, would you give them some names that they could check into on their own?
Yes, ma'am. We would provide them with a community resource book and all the resources that we have available for them. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No further questions.
Anything else?
I have
Mr.
nothing
Pop?
further, Your Honor.
All right, anything else from anyone, Casa?
I do, just with a little follow-up on Miss Cower's question. Miss Bivens, did Dana tell you, Dana Ruiz, the mom, tell you that she had been going and continuing her classes at Safe Place with Kristen Fields?
The last time I spoke to Dana, she had told me she had contact with them, but she didn't say anything as far as she was continuing classes or anything like that.
Okay, so if she called you and let you know what she was doing and asked for resources, then you would be able to respond to her in the affirmative and give her those?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions, Your Honor.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll reset it and I'll get you a date and a time. And Mr. Pipes, I didn't get reports on 3 of the permanency reviews after finals. So I really would like to have hearings on those.
I think those reports were filed late yesterday afternoon, Your Honor, in the Garcia and Perez case and the Dominguez case.
And I'm guessing you don't have caseworkers.
That is correct, Your Honor. But those
You know-
reports were filed late yesterday.
Well, at the last hearing on Gabriel Perez, we were waiting on a ruling on the de novo. Has that
And that
happened?
has been, yes, the department has been, you were affirmed, Your Honor.
So is an appeal being filed?
No, Your Honor,
So you'll be able to move forward with the adoption?
that is correct, Your Honor.
Excellent. And Isis Dominguez is in the permanent care of the department, but we have interveners doing visits. Are we gonna try to
And we-
change that at any
We
time?
have, Your Honor, currently there is a de novo filed by the intervenors that Judge Swanson has heard evidence on and has not made a ruling. Recently, all the parties have sent another round of motions asking him to make a ruling. He has not made a ruling on that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I think those were the ones I had big questions about.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I will read those reports and let you know if I have anything. Oh, wait. We were waiting on a ruling on the de novo on Garcia too. Have we got that?
Yeah, but we've got Perez and Garcia are siblings, Your Honor, and those, that has been ruled on.
Okay, so you can move forward with the adoptions.
Correct.
Excellent,
And they are being transferred to the adoption unit, Your Honor.
great. All right, so that takes care of our docket for this morning. Thank you all very much. And I'm glad
you,
our
Jen.
CASA workers are so happy. It's the holidays.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you applauding the adoptions, moving forward on the adoptions? Yes, me too. I like those.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, y'all have a great day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you too. Have a good Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I have my
Merry
Christmas tie on, Your Honor.
Oh,
I
Merry
do too. There we go.
Yeah,
Mine's a conservative.
Dennis and I have Christmas ties, Your
It's-
Honor.
We're in the season.
Glad.
Filled with the holiday spirit. Thank you.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to all. Thanks.